Our final inductee of the evening is the 9-time New Hampshire amateur champion from Concord Country Club, Bob Mielcarz, who's going to be introduced by his longtime friend and sometimes caddy, Chick Smith.
It's truly an honor and a privilege for me to have the opportunity to introduce my friend Bob Mielcarz as one of the initial inductees into the New Hampshire Golf Association Hall of Fame. Over the past 35 years, I've played numerous rounds with Bob, both as a partner and as an opponent. I've had much more success when I was his partner. In addition, I have accompanied him on many of his title pursuits in the state amateur and during the 4 times he participated in the USGA Senior Amateur. He has a very impressive run. Added to that, the fact that our families are part of a group that has been close for many years, and Bob and I have broken down hundreds of college football games on TV with our favorite microbrew. I think I have a good idea of who he is as a golfer, but more importantly as a person. With so many outstanding golfers in the state, both past and present, I'm sure he is humbled by being selected in the first class of inductees. I'm often asked by friends, what makes this Mielcarz guy such a successful golfer? Well, let's check the card. He won his first title in 1977 at age 27 and his 9th title in 2000 at age 50. He's been really good for a long, long time. Off the tee, he's not particularly long, but from 100 yards in, he has few equals. Anyone who has ever had the misfortune of going up against him in a big match would certainly agree. And if talent isn't enough, Bob is one of the most tenacious competitors I've ever seen. Regardless of the situation, he simply will not give up. You think he's out of a hole? Think again. You better beat him because he rarely beats himself. He has often said, if I hit good shots, the results will take care of themselves. Even today, as he approaches the magical age of 70, he still has extremely high expectations of himself. Despite the fact that Bob still complains about the state of his game, he still has plenty of game. Just a few weeks ago, I saw him after a round at Concord and asked him how he did, and he was shaking his head and he was groaning. He says, oh man, he said, I hit it fat, I hit it thin, I couldn't make a putt to save my life. And I'm saying to myself, man, he probably shot something like 80. No, 74. That was Bob being Bob. 9 is a significant number in Bob's life. He once told me, someone may break my record of 9 state amateur titles, but I won't be around to see it. He is proud of this accomplishment, but it pales in comparison to the pride he has for his family, especially his 9 grandchildren, who he absolutely adores. If you really want to see Bob excited about something, talk to him about Sadie, Helena, Wes, Henry, Elsie, John, Belle, Millie, and Jane. People hear the name Bob Mielcarz and they say, oh yeah, that's that golf guy who won all those state AMs. But I'm here to tell you, yeah, he's a winner, all right, and that's his reputation, but those of us who know Bob see much more than that. He's a dedicated family man, a loyal friend, and a man of unmatched integrity, truly a remarkable person. Please welcome my friend Bob Mielcarz.
Chick, thanks for the really kind words, even though you did have a little fun with me. You've been a great friend and frequent caddy over the years, and I've particularly enjoyed the 4 cross-country trips we took together to the U.S. Senior Am. Having you on the bag certainly enabled me to play better in all of those events. First, I'd like to thank the selection committee, headed by Dave Larrabee, for considering me worthy of this honor. And I want to congratulate all of the other inductees in this inaugural class of the New Hampshire Golf Hall of Fame. I am humbled to be included with such a distinguished group. I also want to take a moment to pay tribute to all of this year's champions, especially the junior players. For you are the future of golf in New Hampshire. And from what I can see, the game is going to be in good hands for many years to come. I want to thank the golf associations, both past and present, for affording golfers like me the opportunities to satisfy their competitive desire with a comprehensive calendar of events every year. I'm old enough to have played amateur golf through 4 directors and many different boards, and each year seems to bring more tournaments to challenge both the gross and net players. This growth has been especially pronounced under Matt Schmidt's leadership, and I personally welcome the extra events in which seniors can compete. I would also like to pay tribute to the many tournament volunteers without whom New Hampshire golf events would not run smoothly. Men like Gary Woods, Ron Woods, Bruce Wilkinson, and Ron Blythe. I have tried to say thank you during my rounds when I could, and for all those times when I failed to personally recognize your service, I want to publicly say thank you to you now. Looking back to my first NHGA State Am in 1975, after moving from Massachusetts, it's hard not to be a bit nostalgic. The fields back then were not as large, and the depth of talent was certainly not as deep. Although that has changed, one thing that did not change is the camaraderie among the players in our small state. It's what I cherish most in New Hampshire amateur golf. I have often likened the New Hampshire Golf Association to a fraternity where lifelong friendships are made. My life has been enriched by competing in state competitions, and I will always be grateful for that. Well, speaking of being grateful, I would be remiss in not recognizing the support network that I've enjoyed throughout my life, starting with my mother, Regina, and my father, Chet. My State Am wins were always a family affair. My dad saw every State Am final, and my mom missed only one because she was babysitting our son, who was then 4 months old. In the audience this evening are my 3 children, Dan, Kara, and Lauren. Nobody has ever had more enthusiastic fans. Plus, all 3 managed to caddy for me during their teenage years. Those of you who have had the pleasure of having a child on your bag know how great an experience that is. I especially want to thank the 3 of you for blessing me with 9 beautiful grandchildren. The joy that they have brought to my life has been a terrific diversion to the fact that my golf game is heading south. I have intentionally saved for last the most important person in my life to thank. That would be my lovely wife of 46 years, Elaine. There is no way I win 9 State Ams without Elaine. She has lived through my thrills of victory and agonies of defeat for 39 tournaments, 38 of which were consecutive from 1975 to 2012. And I'm not just talking about going off to play. Elaine meticulously planned family vacations all over New Hampshire to coincide with State Am Week every July. She endured morning sickness in a cottage on Rye Beach in 1978 while pregnant with Kara, while Dan was only 16 months old. And I will never forget North Conway in 1982. It was perhaps the hottest State Am that I ever competed. Elaine was 8 months pregnant with Lauren, and Dan and Kara were only 4 and 2 respectively. Now that's a Hall of Fame wife. Thank you for being with me for all these years. I would not be enjoying this honor without you. In closing, I want to say that I am proud to accept the honor of being inducted into the Hall of Fame this evening. While I never once felt that I was the tournament favorite or best player in the field during any given year, I do believe that nobody ever wanted to win more than I did. And I think that I got the maximum out of my natural ability. Now I look forward to future inductees joining this year's class so that they too can earn the little piece of immortality that I feel I was just given. Thank you.